What's going on, you guys? KobeDW here. Today is going to be a completely different video on this channel. This is going to be a ranking video. Now, I'm not going to do a tier list or anything. Well, kind of bit. I'm going to be ranking some WWE champions. One of my favorite championships in WWE of all time is the NXT North American Championship. I like this championship because the strap is so original, it is thick, simple colors, just everything about this championship is beautiful. I'm going to let my dog in. My dog was not at the door, I didn't know he was. Sorry about that. Anyway, there have been only 6 wrestlers who has managed to capture the NXT North American Championship. I'm going to go ahead and unstrap the belt and put it around my shoulder. There we go. So, as you can see, you got the North American Championship. I'm going to move this chair out of the way because I want you to see the whole belt in person. And, well, this is not really... Okay. So, the reason why I'm making this video about the NXT North American Championship and talking about the 6 wrestlers because I'm going to rank all 6 North American champions from worst to best. So, in the 2-year history, like I said, 6 wrestlers has managed to capture the championship. And needless to say, not one single match with this title was bad. All of them were good. So, starting at number 6, at the bottom of my list, Johnny Gargano. I love Johnny Gargano. He's like the 5-star wrestler match of NXT. Alright? It took him so long to finally get a singles title, and that was this title right here, the NXT North American Championship. I thought Johnny was going to have a great run as champion, you know, because everyone expected him to become champion. Even with the NXT Championship, people thought he was going to have a good run. But let's talk about his North American Championship. So 2018 was a rough year for Johnny Gargano. For matches, maybe, but for his win-loss record, that is not the case. In all of his TakeOver appearances, he has only won 1 match at TakeOver, and that was in New Orleans against Tommaso Ciampa. He's had 2 TakeOver matches with the NXT title. Andrade Cien Almas at TakeOver Philadelphia and Tommaso Ciampa at TakeOver Brooklyn 4 in a last man standing match. And he failed in those accomplishments. And after his loss against Aleister Black at War Games 2, and it was a heel turn, by the end of 2018, DIY temporarily reunited, and by the beginning of 2019, he turned heel on then NXT North American Champion Ricochet. So it was to set up their match at NXT TakeOver Phoenix. And it was the best match at Phoenix, despite the staring contest and whatnot. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out that match. It's awesome. So Johnny finally got his got another title shot, this time for the North American title. And he won. He finally got his first title, or singles title run. Alright, it wasn't the first title he captured in NXT because that was the tag team titles with Tommaso Ciampa back in 2016. But after so long, he's managed to capture the championship, like I said. So, after I saw him win it, I expected him to have a very, very good run with the championship. Unfortunately, that lasted short. Because Wednesday, was it Wednesday? Let's see, Saturday? Yeah, Wednesday, January 30th, 2019, he came out and, yeah, it was live. Johnny Gargano came out to cut a promo about him winning the North American Championship. Then NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa came out and he said, we could like rule the roster or whatever he said. Johnny said he wanted to challenge him. Johnny, you clearly wanted to team up with him. You didn't want to challenge him. You clearly like teamed up because you held the title up with Tommaso Ciampa at the end of TakeOver Phoenix. So you clearly wanted to team up with him again. So, and then Velveteen Dream came out because there was a Worlds Collide tournament where if you win that tournament, whether you're from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, or 205 Live, if you win that tournament, you get a championship choice of yours. So Velveteen Dream would either face NXT Champion Tommaso Ciampa or NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano. And of course, he chose Johnny Gargano. And excuse me, right here, getting Norton messages. There we go. So Velveteen Dream faced Johnny Gargano that same night on January 30th, 2019. And Gargano lost, and Velveteen Dream won the North American Championship. But here's the thing. NXT, before it was on the USA Network, it was on the WWE Network, which means that the NXT episodes were always pre-recorded. Well, not always, but but this one was pre-recorded. So the WWE aired the match on February 20th, just 20 days later, and showed Velveteen Dream win the championship. WWE recognizes Johnny Gargano's North American title reign 25 days, and when in real life he only held it for 4 days. So that's why I had to put him on the bottom of the list, because he was the shortest reigning North American champion, and he only defended the title once, and it was a loss. So Johnny, I love you. You're one of my favorite NXT wrestlers, but I wish you had a better run as North American champion, even as NXT champion, which we'll cover in another video. So, number 5 is Adam Cole, baby. So yeah, Adam Cole, another one of my favorite NXT wrestlers. He became the inaugural NXT North American Champion at TakeOver New Orleans 2 years ago on April 7th, 2018, the night before WrestleMania 34. That wasn't the only match he competed though, but that's kind of irrelevant. What's relevant is this title and his win. So, 6 men at TakeOver New Orleans fought in a ladder match for this prestigious title. It was Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Ricochet, Lars Sullivan, Killian Dane, and EC3. I gotta be honest, that ladder match still to this day is my favorite North American Championship match. It's just absolutely incredible. And go check out that match if you haven't, if you don't know what I'm talking about. That match was over a half an hour long, and that was the first match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans, and it was amazing. So, yeah, I'll even show a cover, because I have a DVD called Best of NXT TakeOver 2018, and it even shows a cover of the match. And I don't know if you can see it well, but this right here, that's the match I'm talking about. If you don't have this DVD, you need to, but I'm recommending to buy it, because NXT is 100 times better than the main roster right now, and that is not a joke. So, anyway, after a brutal 33 minutes of the ladder match, Adam Cole became the first ever North American Champion. In his title defense, he only defended this title 3 times. 3 times in the 133 days he had the title. He defended it against Oney Lorcan, Wolfgang, and Ricochet. First was Oney Lorcan on an NXT episode. I forgot which date it was. It was the same month where he won the championship just a couple weeks later. Then Wolfgang in June at a UK Championship Tournament show, and then Ricochet at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. So every 2 months he would defend the championship, which I thought was kind of a downfall, but I said downfall because people, in my personal opinion, people should not wait that long. I would understand like once every 30 days, but 2 months? Seriously? 2 months is 60 days. 2 months? That's kind of obsessive. And yes, there was one time where Adam Cole defended the North American Championship outside of WWE. That does not count in my opinion because it is not WWE, and I will not count that match. Even though I have seen it, it still doesn't count in my book because we're talking about WWE here, okay? So Adam Cole defended the title 3 times. One time, well, make that 4 if you do want to count his match outside, but to me it's just 3. So, his first 2 matches as champion were okay, weren't the best, but they were still pretty good. But his match with Ricochet at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, which by the way is on this DVD as well. If you don't know what this DVD is, Best of TakeOver 2018, it's a collection of matches that people thought were the best TakeOver matches of that event. Some matches I wish they would have been on there, but I'm not going to get into that. Let's talk about this title still. Anyway, Adam Cole's match with Ricochet at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4 was fan-freaking-tastic. If it wasn't the ladder match being my favorite North American title match, it was Cole and Ricochet at Brooklyn 4. I even made a live stream a year and a half ago when I reacted to that, but that's irrelevant. So, yeah. Ricochet won the North American Championship at Brooklyn 4, and it was awesome. So, I thought Adam Cole was a good champion, but I just wish he defended it more. So, again, Cole held the title for 133 days. At number 4, Roderick Strong. When Roderick Strong won the North American Championship on NXT's premiere episode on the USA Network on September 18th, 2019, he faced Roderick Strong faced Velveteen Dream in a rematch for the North American Championship, and this was Velveteen Dream's last match as North American Champion. So, I watched that match and it was awesome. And the moment when the Undisputed Era came out, I knew something was going to happen. When Roderick Strong hit the first end of Heartache, I said first because you know what I'm about to say. When Roderick Strong hit the first end of Heartache, people thought, "Oh my God, he's going to win finally!" Sorry if that was a cringe reaction, but I'm just trying to explain this best I can. So people thought Roderick was going to win when Velveteen kicked out. Even I was shocked, and people were shocked too when they were at the event. So when Velveteen Dream was going for his Purple Rainmaker elbow, Adam Cole came in, super kicked him. Roderick delivered another end of Heartache and finally captured the championship. And that time, the Undisputed Era, which is Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole, they all make up the Undisputed Era. They all had the championships, the NXT Tag Team titles. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish were the NXT Tag Team Champions. Adam Cole was the NXT Champion, and he still is now. And now Roderick Strong is the North American Champion. So all 4 wrestlers captured the titles. They even made their own shirt about it. Not joking. If you're watching this and you're a fan of WWE, and if you know what I'm talking about, Undisputed Era, go check out their merchandise. They have one of the best merchandise. They have one of the best customized shirts ever on the WWE shop. And especially that one where it had all the front plate designs with the NXT title, the North American title, and the Tag Team title. I want that shirt so bad. You guys have no idea how much I want that shirt. If you know what I'm talking about, go check it out at the shop. So yeah, just like Adam, Roderick defended the title only 3 times. This time I thought his matches were better, with the exception of Adam Cole and Ricochet. So, Roderick first defended his title a month after he won it on October 23rd, 2019 against Keith Lee, who is the current champion, might I add, and Dominik Dijakovic. Matches involving Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic are always going to be a surprise, and in a very good way. So, yeah. So I watched that match, and I thought Keith Lee or Dominik was going to win. So in the near end of the match, Keith Lee had Dijakovic into a powerbomb position, and he calls this move the Spirit Bomb. So he was on the second rope, delivered a Spirit Bomb, which is basically a base sit-out powerbomb. Roderick came in, delivered a boot or a one-legged dropkick, whatever it was, to Keith Lee, pinned him, and retained the championship. Then, literally, moments later, when the Undisputed Era were attacking both Lee and Dijakovic, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano came out, Finn Balor came out, and I thought this was going to be a brawl. 4-on-3. Suddenly, Finn Balor turned heel, and that was one of the greatest heel turns I have ever seen. If it wasn't Tommaso Ciampa at TakeOver Chicago 1, it was Finn Balor on this night when Roderick Strong defended his title for the first time. That's irrelevant, though. So, his second title defense came on Christmas Day in 2019 when he had an open challenge, and his challenger was Austin Theory, former Evolve champion. I know most of you guys don't know who he is, but if you know what I'm talking about, and if you're a fan of NXT like I am, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, on Christmas Day 2019, Roderick Strong defended the title against Austin Theory. and it was a pretty good match. So, like any other open challenge, I thought that person would win, but Austin didn't win. So Roderick retained his title by submission using the stronghold, which is basically a Boston Crab, where you know what I'm talking about if you're a wrestling fan. And Roderick's third and final match as champion came on January 22nd, 2020 against Keith Lee. A rematch against Keith Lee. And again, I thought that match was awesome. So, yeah. And then there was the start of Keith Lee's so-called Limitless. I know his nickname is Limitless, but with the exception of some wrestlers being title reigns being limitless, I don't think this one will be. But who knows? Keith Lee might become the longest reigning North American champion if this keeps up. So, Keith Lee defeated Roderick Strong for the North American title on January 22nd, 2020. And yeah, so in my personal opinion, the North American Championship suited Roderick Strong better than Adam Cole. And Roderick held the title for 126 days. Number 3, the current champion himself, Keith Lee. And I already explained Keith Lee winning the title. Keith Lee right now is the man. One of the greatest wrestlers right now in NXT. Not one single match he had was bad. So yeah. So this is Keith Lee, who is the 6th and current champion. This is day 100 now. He's been NXT North American Champion ever since he won it against Roderick Strong. But anyway, he defended the title for the first time against his longtime arch rival, Dominik Dijakovic, at NXT TakeOver Portland. And oh my god, that match was so crazy. If it wasn't Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa on that same night that I thought was the best match of 2020 so far, it was Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic. And that, in my personal opinion, is the best match of 2020 so far. In all of WWE. Not just in NXT, in all of WWE. So, there you go. So yeah, Portland was also a great pay-per-view, might I add. So Keith Lee and Dijakovic once again put on another classic, but this was probably their best match they ever had in NXT against each other. So I thought Dijakovic was going to win because he fought for the title so many times, but once again, Keith Lee shows that he's the better man out of the two, and he is, in my opinion. Honestly, Keith should hold the title for at least a year if he's going to keep putting on great matches like these. Excuse me, I burped. Anyway, so after that match, Keith Lee defended his title again, this time against Cameron Grimes on, I believe it was sometime in March 2020. I forgot the date. So yeah, in March, he defended it again against Cameron Grimes. I knew Keith was going to win the moment I saw Cameron Grimes fight, because I know Cameron's a great wrestler, but I knew he had no chance of winning against Keith Lee because of the major size difference. Look up the size difference between Cameron Grimes and Keith Lee, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So yeah, Keith defended the title and retained it in just 10 minutes or so. It was a good match, but it was just 10 minutes. Third time he defended it was against Dominik Dijakovic again, and this time Damian Priest, also known as Punishment Martinez from NJPW. So anyway, or was it Ring of Honor? I can't remember. Well, I don't know. So anyway, Keith Lee defended the title against Damian Priest and Dominik Dijakovic. It was a really good match, you know. And once again, Keith Lee retained his title. And his fourth and most recent title defense was a rematch against Damian Priest. And it was just last week, last Wednesday. So, and it's crazy just seeing NXT with no crowd, you know, because of this whole thing going on. I'm not going to mention it on YouTube because I will get demonetized for that. I'm not kidding. Go look that up. Look on YouTube's policy saying about, you know what. So, anyway. So, last week, Keith Lee defended the North American Championship against Damian Priest. In the end of the match, I thought Damian would finally get his moment, but because of his stupidity, I said stupidity because he brought in yes, I know the referee was down, but he brought in a weapon and was looking to strike Keith Lee in the throat with his little stick or whatever it's called. The previous week, he attacked Keith Lee and he thought he was going to do it again, but Keith Lee wasn't falling for it this time. He delivered a Big Bang Catastrophe, which is basically a fireman's carry into like a power slam, pretty much like Goldberg does, but in a different way. So Keith defended his title, and still to this day, day number 100, still North American Champion. Awesome. I'm so sorry. Anyway, number 2, Ricochet. Ricochet in NXT was absolutely awesome. And the first time he had a match in NXT was ironically for the same title. It was just in a different place. So his first match in NXT was at TakeOver New Orleans, and that ladder match, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, so I don't have to explain again. So then he fought for the title again against Adam Cole at Brooklyn 4, which I already explained also. So, yeah. The first time Ricochet defended the North American Championship was against then WWE United Kingdom Champion Pete Dunne. This actually was a great idea, in my personal opinion. Not only Ricochet defended his North American Championship, Pete Dunne also defended his WWE United Kingdom Championship. It was a winner-take-all match. Sorry guys, I'm trying to put my championship in place again. Here we go. So anyway, it was a winner takes all match, and awesome. It was just absolutely awesome. Unfortunately, the match ended in a no contest because I think both wrestlers were down in the mat and they were unable to continue, but I don't know. So anyway, after that title defense, Ricochet once again defended it against Pete Dunne and in another rematch against Adam Cole. In a triple threat match, this time just being for the North American title. So, yeah. Not as good as the one Pete Dunne and Ricochet had, the previous title defense Ricochet had. But it was still good. Ricochet won by pinfall with his 450 and not his, well, I said his, with the 450 splash. I would only say his move, it was just 630. A 630 is just basically like 2 front flips and you land on your ass. 450 is just a front flip and you land on your stomach. So yeah. The next title defense was an open challenge. And this was before Roderick Strong did it. That was just a year previous, Ricochet did the same thing. Only this time, his opponent was Tyler Breeze, who had his first match in NXT in 3 years. I'm not joking. Tyler Breeze is so much better in NXT. And after that, he went on to the main roster for another, 6 months, and then came back to NXT. And now he's on NXT for a permanent basis. So anyway, Tyler Breeze fought Ricochet for the NXT North American Championship, and again, awesome. Then, Ricochet's final match as North American Champion was against Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver Phoenix, and I explained that match. Again, awesome. Gargano won, and yeah. I forgot to mention, I think I mentioned this before, but Roderick Strong held the title for 126 days. If I didn't mention it before, then thank God I just mentioned it now. But Ricochet held this title for 161 days. Did I just put on the title? No. Let me check this real quick. Sorry, I spit out something a little bit. And number 1, in my personal opinion, the best North American champion, Velveteen Dream. Was there any question that Velveteen Dream was the best North American champion? And I explained him winning the title from Johnny Gargano on January 30th, 2019, last year. His first title defense was against Matt Riddle at NXT TakeOver New York, and in my opinion, the second to best match of the night at TakeOver New York. It would have been Walter versus Pete Dunne for the UK title, but I thought that kind of dragged on a little too long. So did the main event, but that's a different story. So, Riddle and Dream fought for 16 minutes for this title. Awesome. And this was Matt's last match being undefeated, because Matt did lose in this match. And Velveteen Dream was the first wrestler to pin Matt Riddle in NXT. So, And the storyline behind this match was actually very good because Dream was being cocky and bragging about how he is your new North American Champion, and Matt Riddle comes in and challenges him. And then in the ending of the match, Matt Riddle started to get really cocky, and Velveteen Dream took advantage, and that's why he retained his title. I can watch that match all day and still be excited. Same with all the other North American title matches, with the exception of maybe a few. Anyway, 2 weeks after he beat Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream did an open challenge, just like Ricochet and Roderick Strong did. Buddy Murphy was the challenger for the North American Championship, and I was so happy Buddy Murphy had another match in NXT. He's so good in NXT, he needs to stay. Alright, a lot of people who have been in NXT needs to stay away from the main roster and go back to NXT. Freaking dog barking. Anyway, so Velveteen Dream defended it against Buddy Murphy, and Dream retained. Then on TakeOver 25 on June 1st, 2019, Tyler Breeze came back to NXT again, this time on a permanent basis. So he fought for the title again. First time it was Ricochet, this time it was Velveteen Dream. And Tyler Breeze still failed, even though I really love the storyline about who has the better gimmick, because, you know, they both have flashy entrances and flashy outfits, and they both have great wrestling moves. So, yeah. So Dream defended it and retained against Tyler Breeze at TakeOver 25 on June 1st, 2019. Next was at TakeOver Toronto 2. Velveteen Dream defended his championship against Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong in a triple threat match. And while the match was good, it wasn't as good as the other matches I thought. So, still, you know, I really liked it. You know, I really wanted Pete Dunne to win because, you know, since he came back to Full Sail, and you know, I really wanted him to. I think Pete Dunne would look great in the North American Championship, even though he's not from North America. I'd still think he would look pretty good with it. But once again, Velveteen Dream proves how much he is the champion. And finally, was I mentioned earlier in the video, Roderick Strong won against Velveteen Dream. Dream, still to this day, is the longest reigning North American champion. He defended the title 5 times. 5 times. And he held the title for 231 days. In my opinion, Velveteen Dream was the greatest North American champion so far. But let's see what Keith Lee has to say. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. If you guys like this video and if you agree with my decisions on ranking this, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys later, and I probably will make another video tomorrow, depending on how much work I have. So, peace out.